Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back to episode 135 of Hibs Rambo. It's me as always, your host Liam, and I'm joined today. We've got a very, very special guest. I'm joined by Mr. Gogsy99. How are you, mate?
It's a pleasure to be here. This is my debut.
Well, thanks very much for coming on. You've saved us. You've saved us this Friday afternoon. Everyone else is working and being productive and stuff, but you've managed to save us. You were at the game last night, right?
I was. I enjoyed it. Well, parts of it.
Well, I think we all enjoyed at least one part of it last night. But no, thanks for coming on. Obviously, if you don't know, Gogsy he's a Scottish YouTuber, Motherwell fan.
For my sins.
Yeah, it goes to an awful lot of games. You've been to see the Highbees a few times this season.
Yeah, I just go where the ball's kicked.
Exactly.
And I live in Edinburgh, so it's very handy that Hibs are in Europe. I mean, there was a lot of Hearts games last season because they were in Europe as well. So I just try and balance it out.
Balance out, but lean slightly towards the green half.
If you want, mate.
So no, we're going to go through what happened yesterday. That manic 120 minutes at Easter Road. It was a game for the ages. Just to kind of get your perspective, Gogsy, the lineup came out and there was only one change from the team that played against Partizan in the return fixture last week in Belgrade, and that was Jamie McGrath out, Josh Campbell in due to injury. Where were you expecting to see Hibs sort of line up with a similar sort of 11? Did you think that we could have gone any stronger?
I think it was key to keep the players that won the match in Belgrade last week, because you can't really fix a working formula. I mean, you can sort it worse, but like if something's worked, I mean, Partizan came out flying, which we'll get onto, but I think it was the right selection. But I expected more from the first half, to be honest, because that's what sort of put us on the back foot for a large part of the night, and I'm sure you'll get onto your own thoughts. But I just thought with the way you dictated the play at times against 10 men last week, I thought you were opposite this week.
I felt like maybe in the first half there's been a slight fatigue, I think, and the intensity of the game yesterday I think is 10 times the amount of the intensity of the game on Sunday against Kilmarnock at home. And yeah, they're both very, very important games, but I don't really think you can replicate these European nights in terms of how much you can get the players up for it. I mean, it takes a lot out of you mentally. Thankfully we didn't have to travel after Sunday's disappointment, but I think I'm with you. I think we could have come out the traps a little bit quicker. To start, I was kind of expecting it, to be honest, especially given how well we started in Belgrade. We did have a couple of good chances early on. Chris Cadden with a really, really good chance about 2-3 minutes in, and probably should have scored. But I mean, apart from that, I felt like we had a lot of the ball. We didn't do that much with it, but I thought we were fairly comfortable. And then, a bit of a blunder all round, and Partizan find themselves in front. It's a really good strike for the boy. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name.
Vukotic.
Who?
Vukotic. Yeah.
Right. You've done better than I have there. I actually seen a picture, and all of their starting 11 last night, all their names ended with IC.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. I wondered when the last time anything like that happened at Easter Road, and opposing team all had the same last two letters of their name. But no, it's a clanger for Jordan Smith in goal. Someone who, for us anyway, has been really, really consistently good. Maybe not the sexiest of goalkeepers, but everyone's got to have an off day. Did you feel like you don't really expect that for Jordan Smith, to be honest?
Well, I mean, you'll know a lot more than I do, but I've never, like, watching from a Hibs perspective, Hibs have had a lot better goalkeepers. In the times that I've been a football fan, I've thought that I don't want to launch this sort of attack on Jordan Smith, but I think he's a sort of middle of the roads Premiership goalkeeper. Like he's consistent enough, he'll get the job done, but I think that there are a couple of bloopers in him, and unfortunately we saw 2 last night. Yeah,
I mean, it's not something that we saw an awful lot of last year from him. I mean, I felt like when he came into the side last year, I mean, you couldn't have got an awful lot worse than Joe Bursick, because he was god awful. But Jordan Smith came in and really made the position his own. I think also the fact that he had a very settled back three in front of him for the majority of the season that he was involved has helped. And yeah, there has been a couple of times, and maybe the warning signs were there on Sunday when he had a couple of missed kicks at it and got us into trouble a couple of times. But for me, there was more than enough credit in Jordan Smith's bank to start him on Thursday. But yeah, that first goal, it's a sweet strike. But if you look at that compared to the one that we conceded against Midtjylland, it's night and day. Like, there's hardly any venom in it. It's put into a good area, and I mean, Smith, he's got to do better, especially getting 2 hands to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see it all the way as well.
Yeah,
like it wasn't through a crowd of bodies. Like it wasn't like that strike that Midtjylland scored, where it was a lot closer as well, and it was hit with venom. But unfortunately, that's what put us on the back foot last night. And I think it was down to the way Partizan just slowed the game down, because Hibs came at them like all firing the first 5-10 minutes. I thought, right, this could be an easy, or not an easy night, but a comfortable night for Hibs fans.
Yeah.
But as soon as they slowed the tempo down, that's where you struggle, because they just had a lot of the ball in the first half. And actually, I've got it here. I mean, I know there's only one stat that matters, but Partizan outperformed us in almost every single department last night.
I think you look at that though, and we were just saying before we started recording there that I thought that Hibs were the better side throughout the 120 minutes, and it's probably because I am a Hibs fan and I'm more used to. I want to see the positive more than the negative.
Yeah.
Rather than if I was a neutral, I would see both sides. But I thought that after they scored, the response was okay from Hibs. It was fine. Yeah. Like you said, I think Partizan were really trying to slow the game down, because our strengths, I think, are
on the
quick counters on the break and being pacey and getting in behind. And they weren't really letting us do that. I think we really missed then Jamie McGrath in that sort of role to unpick their defence.
The locksmith, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a lot of the ball after they scored, before they got their second, and we just couldn't really do an awful lot with it, unfortunately. And then their second goal comes at a really, really poor time for us. Really poor goal to concede, I think, all round. Yeah, Jordan Smith again makes a bit of a hash of it, but Cadden doesn't get close enough out wide right. Mulligan and Bushiri let the ball go in between them. Bushiri's probably caught more flat-footed than Mulligan is. I think Mulligan's got a marker, but Bushiri, all he needs to do is throw himself at that, and it's away. Again,
not just that. When I was watching it, because I had a look back before coming on, and like there was this boy that he was almost in the CDM position, and he just stopped and watched the boy take the shot. Like he was coming back into the box, and then he just stopped. It was almost as if he expected Smith to have it in his arms, but unfortunately,
I think looking back at it, you wouldn't be wrong to expect Smith to gather that. It's a P roller. To be as nice as I can about it, it's a shite shot, and excuse me, Jordan Smith, I don't know if he just lost all confidence from the first goal and maybe had a little bit of doubt seeping into his mind after Sunday as well, but you know, he's not dealt with that at all how you'd expect him to, and the reaction from the crowd, I was quite disappointed, to be honest, Gogsy. You were in the East Stand, I sit in the West. The reaction from people in the West, I was really quite disappointed. For someone who's given us so much over the last season, probably the last kind of full season Calder season.
Mm-hmm.
He's I don't think he deserves that level of abuse for making a couple of mistakes. Yes, it's a high profile game,
Mm-hmm.
the high profile mistakes, and sometimes that can be the making of you as a goalkeeper. But I just don't. I don't really feel it was necessary. I don't know what it was like up near you. Were people giving him it tight?
There were a few people, but I mean, I think you're always going to get it, especially when people are sitting in large crowds. Like they're going to think, oh, they're not going to catch me, or like see if I can. Like people vent their frustrations at the football. That's why a lot of people go, and because footballers are held up on a pedestal, they don't expect that to affect them, but it does. I mean, we've seen many footballers have these sort of mental health issues and come out about it, and it's just one of these things that unfortunately happen. And I'm not saying that it's okay, but I mean it comes with the job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's not something that's going to change now or ever, because like football fans are as fickle as they are, and unfortunately it's just how it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, I think we'll touch on it a little bit later on. But I mean, he certainly redeemed himself in terms of keeping the ball out of the net in the second half and in extra time. I thought that you can either back down or double down, and Jordan Smith certainly doubled down in the second half and in extra time, and he was really, really good. And it's kind of back to the Jordan Smith that we saw for the vast majority of last season. Someone who doesn't really have the right to be making these saves, and he's pulling them off, and at really crucial times as well. Times where if we had have gone lost a goal there, it would have jeopardised our chances of getting through. Like, it would have been really, really bad. So I'm happy that he kind of redeemed himself for that, and he's maybe, because it's been a bit of a game of two halves for him, he's maybe worked his way back into the good books with a lot of Hibs fans. Yeah. Because there was a lot of chatter at half time being like, oh, he needs hooked, and I kind of thought the same. This was my rationale though, and it's a lose-lose really for Hibs if we hooked him at half time, because if we kept him on, you're keeping on a player who's really low in confidence, made a couple of mistakes, probably going to let it bother him. Whereas if you hook him at half time, what's that going to do for his confidence? And then you're bringing Salinger in, who's not played a competitive game yet for Hibs, and you're trying to get him to match the intensity of the game coming on at half time, and I don't think that is one, very fair, and two, realistic to expect someone to come in and go into that position. It's fair enough if you're outfield because you can hide a little bit for 10-15, but if there's nowhere to hide if you're a goalie.
If you make a mistake, it's 9 times out of 10 a goal.
Exactly, and that's where I think it's a bit harsh with all the criticism of Smith, because if he was a midfielder and made a mistake and let the ball roll under his foot, then no one's criticising it, no one's scrutinising it. But it comes with the territory. Yeah. So unless he wants to come out and be a defender or a midfielder, he's probably just going to have to deal with that. I reckon we were lucky to get in at 2-0. There was a penalty shout just before half time, Gogsy. I don't know how good you could see it from your end. From
my where I saw it, I've only seen it once, and that was through my own phone, and it looked like it was like a sliding tackle and the ball being kicked off the trailing arm. Yeah. I've seen these sort of things, like it happened in a Motherwell game once. David Turnbull won a penalty and the referee decided not to give it because apparently there was nothing that the player could have done. But I mean, if his arm's in an unnatural position, it's a penalty. But I mean, in the grand scheme of sliding, there's not much else he could have done about his arm. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, we kind of... I don't think we were lucky with that one, to be honest, because I don't think it is a penalty. The way that the referee was treating things last night, though, you wouldn't have been surprised if he did give a penalty.
He was something else.
Yeah, he was quite poor.
There was a moment in the first half, I think, when the Partizan player was offside, and even he knew he was offside. But he allowed the play to continue, and Partizan nearly got a good chance out of it. And then the linesman didn't even put his flag up or anything. They just played on.
This is the thing. This is the thing that annoys me about this, and you're probably the same. Is that this new rule of play until the phase of play is stopped? I get it in terms of VAR, right? I get it, but what's it going to take? Is it going to take someone to run through and get a horror injury and is out for the season before you stop the game when someone is actually offside? Fair enough if it's really, really tight and you're not sure and you're probably going to need to rely on VAR to make the right call. But, there was a time where Martin Boyle was miles offside. Nicky Cadden sticks it in the net in the second half last night, and there was a goal that they scored that was chopped off, and their boy was miles offside. But I don't understand why they can't just call it there and then when it's miles off. I mean, it's in such a high importance game for both sides as well, and you don't want players to be getting injured and stuff like that, because it could happen. It pisses me off though.
There is a case study for when John Joe Shelby scored that goal for Newcastle at Swansea, and the linesman had already given offside, but Shelby played on and scored, and then they looked back at VAR, and that was then given as a goal.
Aye, I remember that. Aye. So I mean, it kind of works both ways, doesn't it?
It's just one of those. But the thing is, if a player goes and scores when he's already been given offside, but he's not, you can't book him for kicking the ball away or delaying the restart of play either.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one of those things, like, it happens often, but not often enough for a rule to be changed.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's one of these things, kind of one of my pet peeves in football, I mean,
you can't get it right all the time, even though there's an expectation of the referee getting every single thing right, even with the help of VAR, his two assistants. It's just one of these things that's down to human error, unfortunately.
Well, they're really good at getting a lot of things wrong, getting most things wrong. So maybe they should just flip it over once in a while.
Yeah.
It was really important that we got in at 2-0. Really, really important, because the wheels were starting to fall off a wee bit. A terrible time to concede the second goal, but playing devil's advocate, maybe not the worst time to concede it as well, because if we concede it 10 minutes earlier, you've then got to ride yourself out for you've got to ride it out. So I think if no one's going to choose to be 2-0 down at the break, but if you're going to choose a time to get
it's never a good time.
Yeah, but I think if you could choose, you would probably go for just before the half. And I mean, realistically, it made it nothing each in the tie, but with all the advantage to Partizan. So I thought it was really important that we came out the second half all guns blazing and just go for it, which we did, I think. Not overly effectively, but I feel like we were getting the territory, we were getting forward enough, and then it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Kieron Bowie, I mean, I wanted to ask you about him before. I've got the clips of the goal here.
Yeah,
I'm going to play them. But I wanted to ask you about what you thought of Kieron Bowie, not just on last night, but as someone who's not a Hibs fan. We wax lyrical about him all the time. I say he's the perfect striker for Scottish football because of his physicality. He's really good with the ball at his feet. He can pick a goal out. Clearly, he's got a little bit of audacity in his locker as well from last night. As a neutral looking at him, and also as a Scotland fan, what do you make of him?
Well, I've only that was only the second time I've actually properly watched him play, I think, in recent memory. I mean, I was at the Rotterdam Essen game. I don't think he played at all because he was on Scotland duty, so he had extended leave.
Yeah.
I thought he put in an excellent shift against Midtjylland. It was almost a complete performance without a goal, and it was an unbelievable shift because Midtjylland are a very physical side. But last night he only had one shot, and it was that absolute screamer. It was one of those where nothing was dropping for him, so he had to sort of invent something himself. And the fact that he's got the cojones to do something like that from 30 yards out, that's absolutely fantastic. And it's been a while since Scotland actually had a player that could try something out of the blue. Like, I think the last proper player we had like that was James McFadden, and that's how long it's been since Scotland have had a player that could actually try the outrageous and not get a slap in the wrist for it.
I think as well, the fact that he tries it, he tried something similar on Sunday against Kilmarnock. I think it would have been even further out. And I think he spots the goalie off his line and he catches it. He doesn't catch it properly, and it kind of it's a daisy cutter along the ground, and the goalie catches it no problem. But I mean, let's just watch it. Let's watch it, because I'm tired of talking about it. I just want to watch it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's some hit. Bang. Love it.
Have you got my angle in?
I do.
Oh, fantastic.
I've got your angle as
this
well.
This is it, aye.
Zing.
That's Alessandro.
It's incredible.
It is.
It's really incredible. At the time, I'm not going to talk over you, Kieron. Pick it out, eh?
Yeah.
But no, at the time... Carry on you
Sorry,
go.
I'll let you go. Well,
on you go.
I think I said this in my vlog, and I thought it was going to take something spectacular to break down Partizan, because you weren't getting any rub of the green.
Mm-hmm.
As I told you, I thought Partizan played better on the night, and thankfully you had that moment, because there was a seed of doubt thinking the referee's going to blow for a foul when he just sort of nudges the Partizan player out of the way. So I thought, because it's the football fan in me thinks something's going to go wrong here, because it's too good of a moment, you know. But thankfully it was given, and like there was no question about it. I mean, it was an absolutely unbelievable strike.
It's incredible. I thought at the time he's hit it and it's went in, and I was kind of standing there shocked, and I thought, what the actual fuck have I just seen? Like, that's that. Yeah. I think it could be. Honestly, I think it could be the best goal that I've ever seen live, to be honest. And at the time I was like, he's never meant that. He's never meant it. But the more I watch it, the more I think that's exactly what he's tried to do. He's tried to loop it. And I think there's been a little bit of Ben Brannan in the back of his head, because that was a lovely looping effort as well. Mm-hmm. And I think if he thinks, maybe if I can get this right, if I can connect properly with this, I can loop this right up and over the goalie, and he's got no chance. And thankfully that's exactly what he did. But you know, it's the audacity. And we've not had a player like that probably since Jason Cummins that's had the audacity to try the spectacular.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been a characteristic of Hibs strikers for as long as I've been watching Hibs, that they've got to have a bit of bottle about them and try things like these. And now we've got Kieron Bowie, who looks like he's ready to bring that sort of mojo back to the top end of the park at Easter Road. But honestly, I mean, do you think if he tries that again 99 times, how many times he'll score?
Like, it's one of these things that 99 times out of 100 you look like a fanny when you try it.
Well, I think he tried it again later on in the game.
You did say
miles wide.
Well, you did, but you did say he tried it on Sunday.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's got the tenacity to just keep trying it, I don't think you can ever question it again.
Madness. And also, I think that it's going to now set a seed of doubt in defenders' minds. Like,
nothing safe.
When he's got the ball 40 yards for goal, they're thinking, is he going to shoot here? But no, an absolutely exquisite goal. And I tell you, after the season he had, ravaged with injuries last season, when he first came up, I think we all saw as Hibs fans that he was going to be a real special player. And then he got that horror injury on Scotland duty and unfortunately missed a massive bulk of the season. But when he came back at the tail end of the season last year, he still looked really, really good. But with a proper pre-season behind him, I think he's an absolute different animal. And a lot of people have been talking him up, Gogsy, but is he your pick now for number 9 for Scotland?
Well, I mean, we're so thin in that area. So he's well, without a shadow of a doubt, he'll be in the squad. I mean, you can't not pick him after pulling something like that off in such a high pressure situation. That's something that we are needing up the top
exactly.
end. I mean, across the other end of the city, I mean, Shanklin's not really been sitting the header like last season, and I highly doubt he'll be in the squad. So it'll be nice to have someone that's young and has the audacity to try something like that, because I mean, you don't get many opportunities on the international stage, so when it's there, he's got to take them. Exactly.
I thought after the goal, our reaction was really good. Obviously, they get their man sent off again, dirty bastards. But we again had a lot of pressure and didn't really do an awful lot with it. No. A couple of chances, I think Rocky had one, more or less just after Kieron Bowie scored. But other than that, there wasn't much on for Hibs. They dealt with us. I think they contained us really well and stopped us from playing our game, which I thought is good on their part. But then I don't think they really posed much of a threat going forward themselves. It was a bit cagey at times.
It's one of those where because like things had sort of sped up again, and then when they went down to 10 men, they did a really good job in slowing the play back down to what was in the first half, because they had most of the ball for the last 5-10 minutes, and I mean, you were sort of just kicking the ball clear, just not caring where it was going as such. I mean, you did have that offside goal, which I mean, when Cadden played it to Boyle, I knew he was offside as soon as Boyle got the ball, because Boyle was trying so hard to get back onside, and I think Cadden actually tried to spray it wide, but he miskicked the ball and it went to Boyle. Because I think he saw his brother on the other side of the pitch. I was trying to give it to him, but unfortunately he miskicked it and gave it to Boyle.
I mean, it was a half decent move there. I think Boyle did really well to get his body in between those two defenders and get the pass away and stuff, and it's a good finish. But at the end of the day, it's offside, so it doesn't really matter at all. But I mean, the other talking point at the end of the game, 1 second to go or something, and what I really liked about this goal, and I'm not really in the business of giving opposition teams an awful lot of credit, to be honest, but how composed they were with seconds on the clock, and they were just trying to fashion an opening as if they were 3-4-0 up, and they really showed a good bit of quality. And I think there was a couple of tired legs there on Hibs' part. Josh Mulligan, I think, maybe could have done a little bit better, but he'd run himself into the ground as he's done most weeks since he's been a Hibs player. And it's a good move, a good finish. It's just heartbreak for Hibs at that time. But that being said, I was still so confident that we would go through, because I thought I'd seen more than enough that we would get another goal. I'd said that to my dad at the time. I was like, I genuinely think that we're going to go through, and I said it before. I'm sure I said it to you.
Yeah.
That, I think we'll not win the game, but we'll go through in the tie.
Yeah,
I really should start betting. I really should start betting.
Don't gamble, kids.
What did you think then when that goes in?
Well, I did say to you at the time before the game, I thought it would be 2-2. I didn't see Hibs winning on the night, because I knew, Partizan had certainly let their anger out on Sunday with a 7-2 win away from home. I just thought, right, this is going to be one of those where it's going to be back and forth. Both teams were going to get goals. But see, when that went, I was getting ready to actually leave the ground. I was like, because what the East stands like, because when you're leaving, you're in a queue of about 50 folk on the stairs,
especially at the top as well.
Yeah, because I was right at the top, in the gods, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm gonna start getting ready, and then the move. I mean, it was so calm, because Partizan have a pedigree in Europe. I mean, they regularly get to group stage or league phase football, and so that just underlines how good a result it is to get something off them. And I mean, the third goal is so well worked, but I think you could be doing better because you're just sitting off them, allowing them to. You're giving them the time to think.
Exactly.
And the thing is, in UK football, in domestic football, you don't have that much time to think. But in Europe, the play is a lot more technical but slower.
Aye, so different.
So they've got time to think, and they're actually good at thinking on the ball, and it sort of played into their hands. And I mean, it's a lovely finish. I'm not going to take it away from them.
It's a great finish in a really tight area as well. And I think the boy that scored 18 or something. I mean, give them credit where it's due. It was a really, really young side that ran out for Partizan last night, and they gave a real good account of themselves. Unfortunately for them, it just wasn't good enough over the 2 games. But thankfully for us,
Right.
we went through.
Over the 2 games, a lot did go for you.
Yeah. I think the red card in the first game is a massive point in the tie as a whole. I don't really think that there was an awful lot in it. But yeah, I do think there was a lot that went for us. But you got to have a wee bit of luck on your side. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
And I'll take luck every day of the week.
And the penalty as well over there.
I thought the penalty was a stone ball.
It was a penalty, but it was completely stupid from the boy.
Because,
I
have no idea why
the ball was nowhere near him. Like, I don't think the ball had even properly come into the box yet. The foul was committed. Yeah,
I think as well, Kieron Bowie is so good at buying the fouls and all.
Definitely.
And I think it's because his height and his physicality that the referee maybe subconsciously thinks he's a big lad. He's went down. So must be a foul.
Yeah.
And whether you're into your dark arts or not, it happens, and it's about time that someone in a green and white top is starting to do it, because we've been too honest for far too long, and we need someone who's a bit of a shithouse, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And he's a shithouse who can score goals for 40 yards. So happy days, happy days. Into extra time, I was gutted. I wanted to go home. We saw Alassane Mane and Eliuan. Alassane Mane, I doubt that you've seen an awful lot of him.
No, I've not really.
Since he came in January, he's someone that David Gray said needed a bit of time to get himself acclimatised to Scottish football. Doesn't look like he's ever really managed to do that, although he came on last night and I thought he was pretty good.
He was good at breaking up the play.
Yeah, maybe something that we need, because obviously we're really, really missing that sort of Triantis player. If Alassane Mane can come in and fill that hole without us then having to spend another fee, then that's great. But I think a lot of people have written him off in the Hib support, but after his performance last night, it wasn't on for very long, but I thought he was okay, and probably a player that hopefully could be about for Hibs in the next 10 months or so.
Well, that's the thing. If a vacancy's opened up after Triantis not coming back, then that's a great opportunity for Mana to come in. And well, he's I think he came on against Midtjylland as well, and he looks really decent in that game, because that was a really high intensity match as well. And so in the 2 games that I've seen him play, he's shown signs that he could be a mainstay in that Hibs side, should things go his way. But if you are just letting to offload him, just send him to ML1 and I'll happily take him.
What happened with the last one that we sent to ML1?
No, we will not speak of Jair Tavares.
King Jar. No, I think those kind of games suit Alassane Mane a little bit more, because he's got a wee bit more time on the ball. I think it's the hecticness and the busyness of the Scottish game. I'm not too sure that he's able to cope with that, or his style of play just doesn't really match what we're needing him to do, which is a shame, because I think he is a good player, and we did spend, I think, a fair bit of money on him. But yeah, it looked okay when he came on last night, so I'd be more than happy for him to get another few chances. One more player that I want to highlight just before we talk about Chris Cadden's goal is Eli Yuan. Made his 100th Hibs appearance last night. Looks like he's starting to get back to Eli Yuan of old. You told me yesterday that if you could take one player from Hibs into Motherwell, it would be Eli Yuan.
Yeah.
What was your reason for that?
Because I love a tricky player that can get people on their feet, because I grew up in Motherwell having fast wingers like Chris Humphrey. He was a
good Hibs boy as well.
Yeah, all we did was fire the ball down the wing, and he'd run onto it and cut it back to me legged. And I'm a massive fan of pace abusing, and take that what you will. But I love a fast, tricky winger that can just make things happen out of nothing. And I think his main highlight was it was like the last 30 seconds. He got the ball, did a couple step overs, did a Ronaldo chop, and then put the ball out for a throw in. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great time wasting.
Well, it was. I think he's starting to kind of work his way back into the Hibs fans' good books. He's another one who's been a real divisive figure. We at the Ramble, we've always loved Eli Yuan because we know what he can give. Doesn't always give what you expect of him, but then if he did, he wouldn't be a Hibs player. Plain and simple at the end of the day. But he's an exceptional football player, and we're lucky to have him, and it looks like he's going to be an important player again for us this year, which is brilliant because he hardly kicked a ball last year for us, and admittedly he was injured for a lot of it, but even when he wasn't injured, he didn't do very well.
Can I just say something? For someone who's now played 100 appearances for Hibs and is an essential asset to your club, I've never seen a player of that stature get so much abuse from supporters.
It baffles me as well. It really does.
I said to you on Twitter, I think my highlight of the night was when he did a back heel, and it worked. Someone from Bohemia said "F off, Ellie" or something like that. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's. I think it's because when he first came in, you could see that he was a player, and his problem was that he always took that extra touch, and he was never clinical enough. And then towards the end of that first season, when he was on a loan, he was scoring every week. Because he'd found his feet and he'd got the Midas touch.
Well.
Then we brought him in permanently, and he was great that season as well. I just think people have a little bit of a gripe with him because he's one of these who tries the majestic and the marvellous and doesn't always work out. But when it does, it's fantastic. And I think if Eli Yuan's playing well, everybody loves him. And if Eli Yuan doesn't play as well, then
he's lazy.
And he's lazy. Half of the Hibs fans didn't like him, and half the Hibs fans are then try to convince the other half that he's still a good player.
Fickle. It's just how
it is fickle, and you'd be naive to say that Hibs are more fickle than any other fan base because
I could contest that definitely.
I mean, we're all as bad as each other, aren't we? I mean, there's players that I'm fickle with in this Hibs team, but Eli Yuan's not one of them because you know exactly what he can bring, and if he's on his game, he's unplayable, and he's probably one of the best in the division. And I think he's fantastic. And 100 games is a marvellous feat in this day and age. You don't usually get players who stick about for 100 games. So well done to you, Eli Yuan. And then just before we jump on to listener questions, your man Chrissy Cadden pops up with a winner last night.
Brilliant. I'm so happy for him. I loved him at Motherwell, and I think he was really good for us up until he got injured at Tynecastle in a game that we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
And after that, he never really recaptured his form, and he's had a couple of moves since then. And then when he went to Hibs, I thought, right, he'll be there for a couple of seasons, and then he'll probably move on to a team down south. But I think he's been a really good mainstay for you. I mean, since he's converted from a centre mid to a right back, I think he's become a lot better. He's matured as a player, and I think he's a really good fit for us.
Yeah, he's been so consistent over his whole time at Hibs. I mean, we signed him in the COVID season, and since then he's been so consistent. I love Cadden. I think he's a great player. I do think we need probably a little bit more depth in that area, because now with Lewis Miller gone, I think we need someone to take a little bit of the strain off him, because you can see at times he does look a little bit leggy, and then there's no one to come on for him, so he's got to put up with it and date all himself, which is a shame. And I think then people have a go at him for that. Oh, you're a professional footballer, you shouldn't be tired, etc, etc. All that rubbish that you hear people spouting.
That comes from people who don't understand the intensity of high pressure moments.
Yeah, exactly. And like the travel and stuff as well. Like, people are saying, "Oh, how can travel take it out of you? You're just sitting on a plane." But I mean, it's the intensity, it's the mental.
You've been on a holiday, you know how tiring travel day is.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with 2 kids. But these ones didn't have to go out with our kids to play in Serbia.
Exactly.
I don't know, but no, but fantastic. And I mean, he pops up with a really, really good goal. He's got an awful lot to do after the goalkeeper palms it out. I thought Mulligan did good to get into the box. Unfortunate that his initial shot takes a deflection, and it ends
that's
up.
what makes the rebound, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And otherwise, he's going straight to the keeper, and he's got an easier save. It's a wee nick off the defender that sort of takes it away from the keeper, and that's what makes him struggle to actually save it.
The ball kind of comes out in at the middle of the box, and I think Chris Carron's got an awful lot to do. And the more I look at it, the more times I watch it back, the more I think that he's actually second best to actually get the ball. I think the defender that's in front of him has probably got a better chance of getting it. But he's so determined, and he gets there, and by the time he's there, the goalie's half up. He still needs to pick a spot. It's not a case of tapping it into an empty net. He's still got to beat the goalie, and he does.
Defender on the line as well, I think.
Yeah, and he does, and it's brilliant. And again, you're talking about high pressure situations, and he's someone who, in many high pressure games now, has come through with flying colours, and he's been a standout performer. So, you know, he's well thought of within the Hibs support, and I think it's good for him and it's good for Nicky that they're both here, and they bounce off each other so well. He seems like such a good character as well, and I think that's one of the main things for David Gray at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll jump on to listener questions. Warsaw next week. Are you going to go Easter Road?
Well, that's the plan, but I don't think my Hibs account will allow, because it says people with a plus 12 month buying history, and I think I've only had the account for about 6 or 7 months.
Oh no!
So might have to call in a favour, but we'll let the Hibs fans take all their tickets first, and then when we get past the weekend, that's when I'll look to get a ticket. Because if Hibs didn't make it through, I was looking at going to the Aberdeen FCSB game. But because I live in Edinburgh, it's convenient. I'll be hopefully at the Hibs Legia Warszwa game. Hopefully.
I don't know an awful lot about Legia Warsaw and how good they are and what their pedigree is. Obviously, you know the team name, and you hear it and you go, "Oh Christ, we're going to get our arses filled here." But I think especially after the games against Partizan, the game against Midtjylland, we're ready to face anybody, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, you look at the two teams you've played so far. They're both teams with European pedigree. They're both teams that have played in multiple group stages and league phases. How many Scottish clubs have done that over the last 10, 15 years?
Exactly.
And I mean, Dundee United had it lucky playing against a team from Luxembourg, and then they were unfortunate not to get through against another team with European pedigree, Rapid Vienna. So you're not playing any mugs, so it's always going to be difficult, especially at the start of the season as well, because your first competitive games are in Europe.
Yeah, and to be fair though, they're probably in the same boat. They're looking at us going, oh well, they took Midtjylland to 119 minutes in the second leg and only got beat by 3 wonder goals, and they've went and beat Partizan Belgrade. I keep wanting to say Sparta Prague for some reason. Partizan Belgrade and beat them over 2 legs. I wouldn't want to play them, by the way. I think they would batter us.
Partizan started their season. They started their first game was on the 10th of July. That was in Larnaca. That was their first competitive game of the season. And since they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was the 9th competitive game.
Wow. I don't know. I don't think we've played as many as that. We played 2 against Midtjylland.
Definitely haven't.
2 against Partizan and then Dundee and Kilmarnock. Yeah, so that would have been our 6th, I think. But yeah, Legia Warszwa, bring it on. I think that we'll hopefully be able to make a good account of ourselves. Don't like making predictions. I like making spoilers, and I'll go for 2-0 Hibs.
I think it'll be a game in which both teams will score. I think it could be a 2-2.
Don't say that. We need to win at home. I think we need to win at home to give ourselves a chance.
You do. But you seem to play better away from home in Europe because you got a draw in Midtjylland and you got a deserved victory in Belgrade, and you've lost both your home games in Europe. So it's one of those where you might get a draw at home, but it'll be one of those where it needs a big performance away. You've got an athletic side. It's a big pitch in Warsaw, so it might suit your game.
Well, here's hoping, and we'll come back here in 2 weeks' time and see. Okay, let's finish up with some listener questions.
Yeah.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
First off, as always, we've got John McIntosh, and he asks, "What's for dinner?"
I don't know. I'm playing a game of 11s tonight, so it won't be much because I'm not actually hungry after a game of football. Might be a burger or something like that.
A burger?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm having for my dinner, but I'll tell you what I had for my lunch.
Go on then.
Right, so I had a McDonald's for my lunch, and
healthy, good.
Yeah, and it's called it's on Liam's secret menu, and it's called a McGangbang. And I'll tell you what it is. It's a double cheeseburger. You get a double cheeseburger, and then you split it in half. So you got the bottom bun. I mean, you might have heard it. You got the bottom one and then the top one, and they both got a burger on it. And then you get a mayo chicken, and then you slap it in the middle, and then you slap the lid on. Bosh, McGangbang.
I had that at college. We called it a McDank.
A McDank. I think my name's better.
It probably is, but mine's a bit more PG. It's nowhere near 9 o'clock yet, so.
No, that's true. So that's what I had for lunch, John. And he also says, and talk about the goal. You probably already have, but do it again. Best goal I've ever seen in my whole life.
Do you want to run through the clips again?
It'll take us too long.
Yeah,
it'll take us too long. Mate, you honestly, see it on the tram back home last night. The whole tram was just Alistair Lamont's commentary and Mikey Stewart going, "Ah!" Everyone was watching it at full volume. It was so funny, man.
Oh, good.
Next up, Billy asks, given the run that we've been on since November and the credit that this team has in the bank, was the booing at half-time and the abuse being dished out to a player like Smith and Campbell justified or maybe a bit out of order? I mean, I think I kind of answered that a little bit earlier on. I think it's bang out, to be honest, especially with, I mean, all the players. I think all the players have got an awful lot of credit in the bank.
Yeah,
and
I mean, considering where you were in October last year.
Aye, exactly. I mean, what do people expect? People are going to have off days. It's a part of life.
He's went from the lows of Andy Halliday scoring a winning goal against you to playing in in European football.
That was a terrible goal to concede as well, by the way, I remember.
Wonderful day. Wonderful.
I was not happy with that at all. Cal Hibbs says, what do you think... what oil do you think is best to use on your butt?
Rapeseed oil.
So did you see that? Did you see this?
I did see the comment, yeah.
So, I mean, the Serbia, they've been very, very angry over the last 12 hours or so. A lot of them have been coming for people's sisters and people's mothers and stuff like that. I mean,
coming for or on?
Both, I think. they've been very angry and they've been very sexually aggressive as well with their comments. Which I mean,
insecure.
Yeah. They've been calling us gingers an awful lot. I think they think that's a
stereotype.
Something. Yeah, I mean it's not really that bad, is it?
No, I just
calling
think
us England's bitch and
warriors.
stuff.
That's because Serbia hates England. And
yeah, well, so do we though. Like so.
It's fine.
fair enough, guys. It doesn't really.
It's fine. Kosovo is a legitimate state.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And Albania is Albania. But we'll not get political.
No,
but yes, Cal asked what oil is best to use in your butts. Listen, any oil that they want, because it was them that asked us to oil our butts.
Such a random question.
It's funny. It was. I remember seeing it because I had to click translate, and it just says, "Oil your butts," and I was like, "What the fuck is this, man?" Like, I couldn't believe it. And finally, just before we wrap up, we've got Sean asking, "Is that the best goal that Gogsy has ever seen live? If not, have you seen a better one from the likes of Turnbull, Van Veen, Moult, or Lennon Miller?"
I would say Miller didn't score that many goals, but I would say I think one of them was against your lot. Michael Higdon's overhead kick in a 4-3 win in February 2013. It was that game where we played using a Friday night, and it got abandoned at half time.
And we were 2-0 up. Oh, we're 1-0 up. Yeah, Gary O'Connor scored, I think.
And then we were so kind to let you be 1-0 up again at half time in the rearranged game, and then we won 4-3. It was an absolute mental second half. But I'd say my favourite, and it'll never be topped, is Louis Moult's chip at Hampden.
Yeah, that's the one that kind of came into my head.
Because it's a semi-final, it's against Rangers. Who doesn't love a goal against Rangers? And
it was miles out as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it was a wee bit closer than Bowie's goal last night, but for me, it's just the occasion and the fact it's
ridiculous.
My own team. Yeah,
ridiculous to attempt it at Hampden. And another one that came to my head after reading this was the Jutkovic goal in the 6-6 game.
Just for you, I wasn't going to mention it because I thought it'd sting a wee bit. But, yeah.
Listen, we appreciate good goals on this podcast.
Well, there we go.
It might hurt
there's
sometimes.
2 mentioned against Hibs.
Yeah, exactly. No, have you back on, man. I'm trying to think if I don't think I've seen any better. I mean, I was at Easter Road when John Rankin scored the squiggler against Celtic, but that I think was more luck than anything else.
Yeah.
I think I've genuinely would have said that Ben Brannan's goal was up there until last night, because that was an absolutely sensational strike. But no, I honestly think that Kieron Bowie's goal is the best one that I've seen at Easter Road anyway. Incredible, absolutely incredible. But that'll wrap us up. That'll do us. Thank you very much for joining us, Gogsy.
It's been a pleasure, mate. I enjoyed reliving last night's torture with you.
Until next Thursday.
Yeah.
So if you don't already, make sure you follow Gogsy on YouTube. He's Gogsy99. On Twitter, he's Gogsy999 spelled out. And on Instagram, he's Gogsy San with 2 A's.
You said it as well.
And again, yeah, so thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine.
And if you don't already, of course, follow us on our
That's more important.
Well. We are at the Hibs Ramble on all our social medias, on TikTok, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc, etc. So make sure you get us there, and we'll speak to you after Sunday's game against Livingston. See you later. Bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.